Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play and earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And in today's video, I wanted to share a clip from Splinterlands TV. This was actually a conversation we had 2 weekends ago, so it's a little older of a conversation, but I just wanted to publish it here on YouTube, just in case anyone was interested in a conversation we had on land, specifically the topic of land quality versus land quantity, what it could mean for the different players within Splinterlands, depending on what, again, quality of land you have, what quality of assets you're going to put on that land, and where it leaves maybe the common player from a strategy perspective when it comes to land. We have an interesting conversation. We go through some numbers. We talk about what might be and just conjecture and hypothesize on what that might look like. So without further ado, I'll share the conversation we had on stream. And until next time, keep stacking those stats. So we walked through a lot of data in that video. And what was interesting to me specifically was how much land is out there that may go unused at the initial launch of Land 1.5. And then what I also found very interesting was, what happens if not a lot of land goes live or gets used at the launch of Land 1.5, but maybe just the whales just focus on things like occupied legendaries, which are only like less than 60 of those. I think there's only like 56 of those in existence, or maybe epic occupied lands, or maybe just legendary lands. What if we see those players, the largest players in the game that have alphas and betas, maxed out legendaries and gold foils and all that jazz? What if they just focus on high quality land and leave the common land to sit and be fallow and just not used? What happens then to the average player, like maybe yourself or myself, where we're using common lands and trying to farm on those, and maybe we're getting like, 5,000 production points on a common land, and someone's dropping, 100,000 production points or 80,000 production points on a land and putting a Rooney, a totem, maybe it's legendary. What is the impact there? Because if you go through the math, it's quite interesting. Let's just come up with an example for a whale, right? Just off the back of a napkin. Let's say a whale has just a legendary plot of land, not even anything fancy, just like a natural legendary plot of land. And let's say they have betas, like legendary betas maxed out, as an example. A legendary production point is 1500 and a beta is 5x, right? So this whale isn't even an alpha whale, he's just a beta whale. So let's say a maxed out legendary beta production point is 1500 times 5, right? 7500. And let's say he puts 5 legendary betas on a plot of land. So that's 7,500 times 5. And let's say he puts a Rooney on land. That's 1,500. And let's say he has element bonuses for 10% for those legendary betas. It's not unheard of, right, on a natural plot of land to have that be possible. So that's another 3,750 production points. So we're at a base production points 42,750. Now it's legendary land. It's a 1x, 100%. It's a Rooney, it's 100%. Let's say they put an epic totem out there, right? An epic totem is not legendary. It's just, whatever, it's epic. What does that do? Where's totems? Production boost, totems. Epic totem is 50%, so now we're at 250%. And let's say they have a title. let's just say they have an epic title, not even a legendary title, just an epic title. Let's say they have the Gambler, 25%. So we're at 275%, right? So this whale, you know, not too hard to get a 2.75 multiplier on that production power. So that legendary common plot of land is putting out 117,562 production points on just one plot of land, right? And this is where the question is quality versus quantity going to be a big factor in Land 1.5 when it comes to, for example, SPS rewards? So why do I say that? So let's say you or I are on a common plot of land. Let's say we own a common plot of land and we want to put maxed Chaos Legion legendaries on land, right? Or maybe let's just get crazy. Let's just get crazy. You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. Let's just say we're gonna put gold foil epics, max gold foil epics on land. Now, max gold foil epics are probably like $50 a card, roughly. I don't even know, something like $50 or $60 a card. So let's say we're gonna put $300 worth of cards on our common plot of land. So let's do the math. Let's do the math for our common natural plot of land. We have 5 max gold foil epics. So that's 6,000 times 5. We get an element bonus of 10%. That's 3,000. We don't have a Rooney. We don't have a legendary land. We don't have a title. We don't have a totem. But we have a common plot of land. And we have max gold foil epic Chaos Legion reward cards. 33,000 production points. So how many common plots of land, reasonably kitted out with cards, is it going to take to equal that one beta whales plot of land? And I would say that 5 max gold foil epics is pretty powerful. I will just say that, right? That's not chump change. Not chump change at all. So 117,000 divided by 33,000. So it would take almost 4 common plots of land with all max gold foil epics to make up for that one beta legendary plot of land. So what we're seeing here in that particular example is that a quality piece of land kitted out with quality cards is like a 4-to-1 ratio on production points or value, right? So it would take a person basically in this example that we just did 4 times the number of lands to get the same rewards as that one person with a higher quality land multipliers and cards. But here's the crazy thing, is most of us probably can't put max level gold foil epics on a common plot of land. Let's use another example as we look at the quality versus quantity conversation when it comes to land. Let's say, for example, more realistically, we have 5 regular foil common max levels. Let's say we have 5 max level heat smiths on I guess a mountain or caldera or something like that, right? So in that particular case, we're going to have 5,000 production points plus a 10% bonus. So we're going to have 5,500 production points on a common plot of land. And we're going to have to buy the common plot of land. We're going to have to clear it. And we're going to have to stake 50,000 DEC, right? So how many common plots of land is it going to take to basically get to the same production points as the beta example that has the quality, right? So let's go ahead and do this example here. In this particular example, with common plots, with just having maxed Chaos Legion reward cards, how many common plots is it going to take to equal out in rewards for SPS mining? Almost 22 common plots of land is what it's going to take to equal that one quality plot of land that a whale might have access to. So what does this mean? What does this mean for the common player? If you own less than 22 common plots of land, you could find land 1.5 underwhelming as it pertains to SPS farming. Why is that? Because remember, the 22 plots of land that we just discussed to be equal to the production points of one, whale with a beta legendary common plot of land. Remember, you also then need to have grain to feed those 22 plots of land, plus all the DEC staked, right? 50,000 DEC per plot of land for staking the DEC. And then you either have to have equivalent land to farm the grain to keep it a self-sustainable operation, to keep mining that SPS, or you have to buy grain daily to pay for your workers, to feed your workers. So it can be very expensive to just even try and keep up with that whale. Now, again, the whale's costs are much higher than yours, even with 50,000 DEC stake per plot of land and the grain requirements. Because remember, the whale has to have those beta legendaries, has to have a legendary plot of land, has to own a Rooney, has to own an epic totem, has to own a title. That's very expensive. So that single plot of land is going to require, it's not even going to require 50,000 stake DEC because he's got a Rooney on it. So it's basically just going to require the cost of all that stuff plus the grain, which is going to be expensive, right? It's the same grain cost that you have with 22 common plots, right? But my point here is that there's going to be a calculation of value of quantity of land for an average player to keep up with the Joneses. And that is like a beta or alpha whale that has maybe quality assets, higher quality assets than you or I might have. And it's going to be interesting to see in the economy how this all works out in land 1.5. Because in land 1.5, my conjecture is that the whales are going to benefit from land 1.5 because they're going to be able to have the land quality and the card quality and the asset quality to get the most share of SPS. And that's the only value, like monetary value, that can be had in land 1.5. Now, I would argue that in land 2.0, when you can have different LPs and different resources that you can mine, then the common player is going to have more of a value and more benefits at that point in time. But until we get to land 2.0, which is sometime next year, right? All indications. The whales are going to be the ones that are benefiting most from land 1.5's game mechanics. So where am I ultimately going with this conversation is I believe that land quality is going to be the most important factor. And I would say land quality and asset quality are going to be the most important factors for land 1.5 to be successful. So if you have good land quality and you have good asset quality, you're going to like land 1.5. If you have common plots of land and you have common regular foil Chaos Legion cards, you're probably not going to be happy with land 1.5. And that's just the math. That's not me saying anything bad necessarily about land 1.5. It's just the way it's going to probably work out. So what can you as a common player do with this information if you believe it to be true? I would say, again, non-financial advice, I would say that there's going to be a dip in land prices during and after land 1.5's launch. And I would say that that is your time to strike, that is your time to acquire land assets at a depressed value in the run-up to land 2.0. Again, if you believe in land 2.0, that it can provide more value with the different resources and LPs and all that. So my feeling personally is that land 1.5 will not be the silver bullet that gets us to the moon. But I do believe that a smart player in Splinterlands that has a long-term vision of the game will see benefit to take advantage of other people's dismay and apathy scoop up value, wait 6 to 9 months for land 2.0, and then get a return at that point in time on your patience and due diligence and belief in the overall vision of Splinterlands.